Scentland, the land of scent. Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Chris, back with another fragrance review and back in nature, in the forest again. I do that sometimes, and why do I do it, or when do I do it? I do it if the fragrance I'm going to be introducing is so natural and so beautiful that it cannot just be reviewed in a closed environment, in an office or at home or wherever. It needs to breathe, it needs the outside, it needs the natural impact to it, and it's best worn actually outdoors. And this fragrance today is such a fragrance. It's from the very precious house of Hermés in France, and it's their very first male fragrance, created in 1970 by a guy called Guy Robert. Guy Robert has done over the years a few fragrances, actually Calèche for Hermès as well, Dior Essence for Dior. He has worked also, I think, for Amouage a bit later on, but usually, in general, he was more active in the 60s, 70s maybe, and he has been given the job to create Hermès' first fragrance for men called Equipage in 1970, as I mentioned. So, about the fragrance, it's wonderful. I sprayed it on before, and you see almost as I open the bottle, as if by magic, the sun comes out. It is maybe because this fragrance is such a nice, natural, herbal, woody, well-mannered, sophisticated, classy fragrance that, it makes the sun shine. It's amazing. And actually, that's the feeling you get. Autumn in the woods, sunshine, positive aura, classy aura, definitely outdoors. How does the fragrance achieve this? The fragrance achieves this through carnation. Very nice carnation note in there, together with rosewood. Fantastic rosewood, amazing, beautiful rosewood. I have to spray this again. Sprayer works very generous, and it, just as it lingers, has this classiness, bit of bergamot in there as well to make it a bit juicy, although the fragrance later on is totally dry, stone dry, or bone dry. At the beginning there's this lovely bergamot in there, maybe a little bit even lily of the valley, maybe. Definitely carnation, definitely rosewood. I've read that there's cinnamon in there. I don't really sense that. It's a very positive, bright, very dry then woody carnation fragrance. And what comes on later on in the fragrance during the course of the development is a fantastic oak mossy scent. A fantastic oak moss that is not pushing. It's nothing like the big heavy 70s oak mosses there, but it is rather an oak moss that carries the fragrance along to live a little bit longer, because the longevity is maybe 5-6 hours only. Silage projection, at the beginning it's quite prominent in the air, but then it starts to get a more skin scent. So I would probably say, if you spray it on clothes and on your skin, that's probably going to be working out the best way. Very nice woody aura, fantastic. And why is it the woods out here for the review? Because this is really like, you have the sunshine now beautifully coming through the trees. You inhale the woods in here, right? And what you get as well, what the oak moss brings across in this fragrance beautifully, is actually the ground. The damp forest ground here. What you got? This folks, this earthiness, yet there's a bit of moist on there still, so the autumn hasn't fully kicked in yet, but because it's still, there's some brightness around, but after a while it will all be dying, and it becomes so dry and classy and earthy and herbal, that this fragrance is just totally reflecting that, in my opinion. This is also, if I would need to get it a color, this is why I have this Chief Brody jacket on, because the color is really like this, you know, or this. It's really like, you know, that's the color. If you put a color to the juice, it has its own color. It's a bit too ambery. It's less that. It's more than this sort of or this sort of color, you know, and this fantastic earthy smell that comes in after a while. And it's not vetiver, I think. It is really the oak moss that carries this through. But the carnation and the rosewood are the most prominent in this juice, carrying it and keeping it dry, woody, stylish, classy, herbal, manly. When I say classy, it's not outdated. It's not your 1970s, 80s powerhouse. It's much more sophisticated. I think this is also why it was easily surviving the past decades, as actually do the Hermès fragrances, even before Jean-Claude Ellena. We always talk about Jean-Claude Ellena, but there were many fragrances like Equipage, like Rocabar, like Bellamy. They were coming out before Jean-Claude Ellena, and they're still there on the shelf. Hermès does a great job carrying them, and they're never discontinued. The price is never being lowered. It's always top. It's always on the top shelf, and you can only achieve that if you create a classy fragrance that lasts throughout the ages. Perfect example of it, Equipage. Now, when I say that, I don't get too many compliments from young people. You know, it's more a classy fragrance that older generations like more. So, age-wise, I put this above 30 and up for guys to be worn 30 and up. It's definitely a male fragrance. I don't see any unisex in this, although, you know, probably why not? A classy girl can pull this maybe off. But to me, it's just a perfect fragrance for an occasion, outdoors occasion with friends, you know, walking around in the woods, having a nice lunch, and then, you know, maybe a glass of wine, and just talk and feel good and have a bright day, and enjoy just the company and the sense of autumn. It's really very much an autumn fragrance to me, with all its bright aspects to it. It's not a dying autumn. It's still a, you know, autumn that's alive and still has these colors around, and therefore, you know, I keep it for these occasions, and you know, that's it for me on Hermès Equipage. Again, to sum it up, fantastic herbal, woody, nice, fantastic Brazilian rosewood. My goodness me. Carnation, oak mossy fragrance, reflecting the bright autumn days with sunshine and earthy ground with still leaves being, you know, nice and yellow, and you know, just something that appreciates the natural vibes of autumn. Being put in a bottle, fantastic, and also great actually for casual, for formal occasion, going to the opera, for example. It can be a night scent even if you want it to, or theater or anything like this. Great one for such occasions, I think, or even a night out dinner, a dinner, you know, during the night out, hitting the town. It's not a disco scent though. You know, don't go clubbing with this scent, but you know, classy evening, and or an outdoorsy one. You see, I start to rave about this fragrance because it's so good. It really, you know, works your mind. Thanks very much for your attention. Any comments are very welcome. That was me on Hermès Equipage from 1970. Bravo Hermès, bravo Guy Robert. Mademoiselles et mesdames et messieurs, je vous en prie, merci beaucoup, and I'll be back. And autumn is just fading away. Take care. Bye-bye.